Dangote's wealth is going to expand exponentially now because it's now into crude oil refining. In the next 3 years or 4 years, it's going to be worth $100 billion. So if I were the owner of Dangote petrochemical plant, the minimum wage in my company would be 500,000 naira. Minimum wage for security guards. What if you had a strategy, just like the Chinese, to create more Dangotes? And that is where the government will get money. Imagine from 100 tons of lithium ore that could sell for $20,000. You move to lithium concentrate like the one they are doing in Nasarawa and Zamfara now. All you have moved to is improve the earnings from $20,000 to $24,000. I've told you the progression. From there you move to $45,000. From there you move to $100,000. Then 200,000. When you make the finished product itself, you're not selling per weight anymore. You're not selling per units. By the way, that figure I gave to you of 100 tons of lithium ore can give you, when you finish the lithium batteries of 15 kilowatts, can give you 250 to 300 15 kilowatts batteries. Nigeria right now is a country of darkness. We don't have enough power. Imagine if we are able to make lithium batteries in Nigeria and people are able to afford it. The pressure on the national grid will be reduced by the quantum, because 15 kilowatts can power almost everything you have in an apartment. As a matter of fact, an apartment only needs about 5 kilowatts of battery power. So you now discover that we'll be able to make batteries from lithium. Now, let me take you to the other side. What is in that 80 tons after you extract the lithium concentrate? What you have there is about 40 to 50 tons of silicon oxide, quartz. That is the stuff that you use to make solar panels. It's a complex system because you have to create waffles and slice the waffles. All these things are done by machineries, not by human hands. And those machineries, they already exist. You can buy them, you can bring in expatriates, and they will run the factory for you. All you need is inexpensive 24/7 electricity, and you are good to go. So, when you take the quartz, you are going to melt it and try to create 99.999, that's 9 in 9 places, % of pure silicon that will be good enough to make solar panels. So you don't throw it away. It becomes useful. You set out to make lithium batteries, but in the process, see the chemistry of it. In the process, you now have residual materials that you can use to make solar panels. So the solar panels and the batteries, they work together. The solar panel extracts photons from the sun to charge the batteries from positive to negative. After storing it, it discharges again from negative to positive, they give you light. So the inverter is there to move it from direct current to alternating current you can use in your homes. All these things can be made in Nigeria if we have constant supply of affordable electricity, if we put the plant at a point where we have gas, and the Nigerian government allow our people to buy that gas at an inexpensive price so that we can develop our economy, can create jobs. At that point, we are talking of multiple jobs. In that material, you still also have feldspar that you can use to make ceramic tiles. You have mica that you can use to make pens, silicon that can be used as adhesive, as rubber sealant, silicon gel. Isn't it amazing the kind of chemistry that's coming out from it? So you're not talking about $1 million now from 3 trailers of lithium ore. They're not talking about solar panel. When you factor all that in, you see that you'll be having an economy that will explode. What happens to lithium ore will happen to other compounds and other minerals. That's what is happening now with refinery. As Dangote is refining oil, he's making about 7 or 8 products. The gas that he's using to fire his turbines to create electricity is still the same gas that is used to produce fertilizer, urea. It's a feedstock. It's the same material that I used to produce detergent. It's the material I used to produce all the parts or plastic parts inside all our cars. Dangote is producing polyethylene or polypropylene now. But we need more petrochemical plants that can manufacture so many other things that are applicable in everyday consumption of finished products. What happened in China is not voodoo, it's not magic. It is following the industrial manufacturing process. That is what we have not been able to do in Nigeria because we have not focused our mind on it. Because we are thinking that we'll be able to produce enough electricity and transfer it to the 4 corners of Nigeria to produce industries. That will not happen because the cost is incredible. That is why I say the mountain will not come to Jesus Christ. Let Jesus Christ go to the mountain. That is why he went to do Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitude. So, what is my point now? My point in summary is that if you sell 3 trailers of lithium oil, you get $20,000. If you turn it into concentrate, like what they are announcing in Nasarawa now and Zamfara, you get $24,000. If you bring in the plants to go the additional 3 or 4 steps to make the lithium battery, you get $1 million from 3 trucks. You get solar panels. You'll be able to produce blazing material for ties from the Vespa. From the mica, you'll be able to produce paint. The silicon itself can give you silicon gel, the seal, and the lubricant. All these have values. That is what China is doing. That is what Japan is doing. Singapore, with all the noise they are making, they are primarily just a country that refines crude oil. They fractionate it. They buy, fractionate, and sell again. Dangote's wealth is going to expand exponentially now because it's now into crude oil refining. No wonder it says they want to double the capacity. It's now into fertilizer, taking natural gas, which is maintained, CH4, add nitrogen to it from the atmosphere to produce urea, fertilizer that is used everywhere in the world. So Dangote is now going to be, within the next 3 years or 4 years, it's going to be worth $100 billion. What if you had a strategy, just like the Chinese, to create more Dangotes? And that is where the government will get money. And that is how we'll be able to raise the standard of living of Nigerians. Because if I were the owner of Dangote petrochemical plant and refinery, the minimum wage in my company would be $500,000 naira. Minimum wage for security guard, because it is affordable. That was what Henry Ford did. When he started his assembly line, he found that he was making so much money. I said, okay, who will buy these cars? So he increased the salary of his workers to the point where they were able to buy cars. And that was how the middle class started. There can never be a sustainable middle class without industrialization. It is not possible. Adding value, that is where development comes in. At that point, South Africans that are chasing Nigeria out will be fighting to come to Nigeria because they don't have gas. They have to crush coal to produce electricity. The Chinese have to crush coal and go through many processes to be able to turn it into gas that we have for free here. They have to go through many processes. We have it right here. underneath our feet. And we allow the Chinese to come in here to dominate us. Something is wrong. Let's forget about the past and ask ourselves, what is the way forward? That should be the question. It's not enough for anybody to be the president or the minister or the governor. The question you should ask yourself is, how and what do you need to do to make Nigeria an industrialized country? What they are doing in Zamfara is okay, but that's not the... People were sending me the videos. Oh, see what you are talking about. They are not doing it in Zamfara. They are doing it in Nasarawa. So I watched it intensely. And I said, no. This is just a fraction of what we are talking about. This is a deceit. This is hocus pocus. Somebody gives you $24,000 or whatever, and that is the value of the whole thing. So that's not for you. They're going to get a fraction of that. And it takes that element, because it has now removed the lithium, because lithium ore contains about 1 to 2% of lithium. So it has removed the lithium from it and moved it to China from a value of $24,000 to $1 million. That should be happening right here in Nigeria. That was how China did it. It was done by the Zempi that came into power in 1978. This changed everything. Within 40 years, China moved from an agrarian country to an industrialized country. And Nigeria can do that also. If people will have in a position of leadership, they can focus their attention on how to follow my blueprint and industrialize Nigeria. I remain your advocate for the industrial development of Africa, process I said to begin from Nigeria. My name is Dr. Cesar Osahene Yayi. Until next time, bye-bye.